Shalom everybody. I would like to share a thought about Parashat Vayera. Parashat Vayera and Parashat Bo are the two parashot that the Torah describes the famous Eser HaMakot, the 10 pledges. And I think that every time there's a group of 10, or a group in general, I think one of our missions is to try to divide this group into different groups to understand what is the meaning of the different groups, and through that to try to figure out what is the essence of the whole idea of this group of the 10. For instance, in Aseret HaDibrot, there's a lot of commentators that try to divide Aseret HaDibrot into the different groups, either Ben Adam L'Chaviro, Ben Adam L'Makom, or the first two Dibrot that Hashem spoke, and the other ones that Moshe Rabbeinu spoke after he heard from Hashem, Mitzvot Aseh, Mitzvot Lo Taseh, etc. The same thing we have to do with Eser HaMakot, and maybe one of the first famous shiurim that divide Eser HaMakot into different groups, is the shiur of Rabbi Yehuda that we mentioned in Haggadah Shel Pesach. Rabbi Yehuda haya noten mehem simanim detzach adash be'achav. It's not only a way to remember the Makot, but it's also a famous shiur that I heard many years ago from Rav Meidan, that each of the groups has a different message that teaches us something about the idea of Hashem's presence in the world, and therefore each group had the idea to teach us. And there are ways to talk about the different groups of, are there Makot that there was a warning or there wasn't a warning, Makot that Moshe did, Makot that Aharon did, and I think every year I try to find a different way to divide up the Makot, to try to learn the idea of the Makot through that way that we divide the Makot into different groups. I would like to offer one other way, and you could actually do it in a set of questions if you want to teach this to other people. Try and ask other people, what are the Makot that Moshe Rabbeinu was asked by Paro to pray to stop the Makkah? Ha'atiru ba'adi, a very special verb of ha'atir means to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So we'll make a long story short. There are 4 different Makot that it says that Moshe Rabbeinu was asked by Paro to go and pray ha'atiru ba'adi. Now, of course, if you go and try to ask people to guess whether those Makot, it's not going to be so easy. So I'll make it, again, the long story short. It's 4 Makot, and the way to remember those Makot is the Rashi Tavot of Etzba. Arbe, Tzfardea, Barad, and Arov. And of course, according to the real order, Tzfardea, Arov, Barad, and Arbe. Etzba, Arbe, Tzfardea, Barad, Arov. Of course, the question is, what is special about those 4 Makot? So I think the method is to try to see what the Torah teaches us about those Makot. And I found something very interesting some years ago. In every single Makkah, out of those 4 Makot, it mentions that they had to do with Paro's personal home. For instance, in Tzfardea it says, V'sharatz hayeor tzfardeim, ve'alu uva'u beveitecha, uv'chadar mishkavcha ve'al mitatecha. In Arov it says, Ki mencha meshalech et ami, hineni mashliach becha uva'avadecha uv'amecha uvevatecha et ha'arov. If you look in Makat Arbe, it says, "Hineni mevi machar arbe bigvulecha u'malu vatecha uvatei chol avadecha." And in Makat Barad, even maybe it's the worst. It says, "Ki bapam azot ani sholech et kol magefotai el libcha uvavadecha uvamecha." In other words, those 4 Makot, Paro was affected personally. What is the idea that you can understand from these 4 examples? That the Torah is trying to teach us, when does Paro pray or beg Moshe Rabbeinu to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to stop the Makot? When it affects him personally. When it affected his nation, his people, he couldn't care less. It says that in Makadam, he turns around and says, Velo shat libo gam lazot. He doesn't care about it. But those specific Makot, Paro felt that he's going to be in danger. It's affecting him personally. He could not resist it. And he says to Moshe Rabbeinu, please pray to stop the Makot. And of course, there's actually a 5th Makkah, Makat Bechorot. Because in Makat Bechorot, it says that Mi Bechor Paro, Hayoshev al Kiso, Ad Bechor Hashvi. In other words, it affected Paro's personal home. And then he doesn't ask Moshe Rabbeinu to pray anymore. He just says, Kumutsu mitoch ami. So what is the idea? The Torah is trying to teach us the difference between Mitzrayim, the Egyptian leader, and the leader of Am Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu, the same Moshe Rabbeinu, he also had a challenge when Hashem said to him, look, I'm going to kill everybody and let you begin a new nation. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Moshe Rabbeinu says, if it's me or the nation, take me. I want to go together with the nation. So if you want to ask one of the other reasons, Chazal asked, what's the difference? Why was Am Yisrael distinguished from Mitzrayim? And why did Am Yisrael have the zchut of Geula rather than the Mitzrayim? Because, they also worshipped Avodah Zarah at the time. Maybe one of the answers is that the difference between Am Yisrael and Mitzrayim is the leadership. Moshe Rabbeinu, as opposed to Paro is a leader that cares only about himself, like many leaders that we see today. Moshe Rabbeinu is a leader that knows that he's there to serve his nation. And because of that, he became the greatest leader of all times. And he sets a role model to all of us. What does leadership mean? We learn from the Eser HaMakot that the reason why Am Yisrael is nivchar and chosen and distinguished from all the other nations is because of the leadership of Am Yisrael that doesn't think about themselves, but about their nation. Shabbat Shalom, Kol Tuv.